This is going to be a special meeting. We have to change it from a regular meeting to a special meeting. So call the special meeting to order on January 8th. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Marty, you want to mention about the clarification of the meeting?
Yeah, someone made an inquiry the end of last week about FOI provision in the notices that are filed for the schedule of meetings for the upcoming year. And if you read the statute says that there won't be any meetings for 30 days after the date that the schedule is filed. But that doesn't preclude a special meeting. So the only difference is, since it was already filed, everybody was already set to go. I don't see any reason. It's just using it, make it a special meeting. The only thing that I could see that could be a problem is we can't add anything to the agenda.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Public input? You're on the agendas, unless you'd like to say something first, or?
Can we refrain till the end?
Okay. Any other correspondence come in? Okay. All right. Approval of the meeting minutes of a regular meeting of December 18th. Have a motion?
I was not here. You can't.
All right. A motion. Well, there's only two of us, Dino. So, a motion to table the minutes. Approval of the minutes.
Yeah.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor of tabling the approval of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, financials, just invoices. I'll make a motion to put it on the table that we approve $60,659.05 as submitted.
Second, for discussion.
Okay.
The item number 2, Kelly, I'm going to address this to you. The Paul Street Pump Station install conduit, wire and lights flow in the chamber. Is this all done there?
Yes, it's completed. That was lighting in the wet well. It had to be explosion proof. Also, they did it with non-corrosion conduit. And the fixtures are very pricey, but it was turning into kind of a safety hazard because there were no lights in the wet well itself. Now that we're going down there on a daily basis.
So this is 100% complete then?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This wasn't part of the original bid?
No.
This is extra?
And then number 3, just clarification on Michael's company, that's HiChem. That's the temporary service lines that were put on the bypass when we did
Prospect?
Prospect, yes.
Okay.
That's 100% too?
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay.
But this was never anticipated in the original proposal?
The lighting?
Yeah.
No, because we had some shoddy lighting down there, and we just brought in some bases, and they were just very unsafe to use. We had no.
I don't have a problem doing that. I think on an extra like that should come back to us, to let us know what's going on.
Well, what it was, the electrician was there that was doing all that.
I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. I understand that.
Okay.
But it's $11,000 extra that should have came back to us.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other discussion? You all set?
And Marty,
Oh.
that's all 100% too. I'm only kidding. Thank
All
you.
those in favor of $60,659.05?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Director's report. Directors?
Yes.
Directors in plural.
Tom, you want to take over?
I can start. I think it'll be a quick report, though, given that I've been here about 8 hours so far.
Well, I'd like to welcome Tom Villa
Yes.
as our new Director of the Public Utilities.
Thank you.
So this is first day today, so hopefully, you didn't have your boots on, so you didn't get your feet wet today.
I got a pair in the car, I'm ready.
Welcome aboard, Tom.
Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Everyone's been great, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
Good.
Now for the real report.
Okay.
Well, nothing too exciting to report here. I mean, just good progress, continued good progress. We're making progress on the Hoytsville station, as Marius would report on. We were up there today making some significant progress there. We're making progress with the development of the new Bergstrom well field. It needs to, Wright Pierce has completed some initial pump testing up there, installation of some testing wells. And the next phase is to get some special permission from the state, DEEP, to allow us to get on pieces of their property to start doing some analysis in that area in support of the new well field. But that's moving along, and if we can get some low flow conditions this winter, that's really the next milestone to reach in terms of requiring, meeting all the conditions that DEEP has required us to do in terms of their their permit. They, years of recent past are taking considerable attention to the impact between well fields and stream flow. And that's really where we're gonna be at going into the springtime or the winter months. If we can get historical low flow in the winter, we'd be in much better shape schedule-wise. Worst case scenario, we'll have to wait till traditional low flow, which is in some, mid to late summertime. But if all the stars line up, we could be moving very quickly and getting a lot of work done. Greg Smith had offered to come to this evening's meeting, but for a couple of different reasons, I recommended that maybe he come to the next meeting. So expect him coming into the next regular BUC meeting as scheduled, and he'll be able to talk in detail regarding where the development of the new well fields are. Other than that, we have no major issues to report. Kelly may have some stuff regarding the cold temperature, but nothing that's risen up to my level. So we're so far hanging in there pretty good regarding the weather.
Okay. I happened to stop out there one day when Greg was there when they were doing the test borings out there. And he had mentioned that I don't know, did he speak to you about the beaver dams?
Yeah, I saw him maybe the next day, Rich.
Yeah.
He spoke, yeah, so I did mention to him, right now, we're actually out there with beaver control. This is the season that we do those things.
Okay.
So I mentioned to Bob Dibble this morning specifically, are we in that area? He said yes. So hopefully, the season is open until, I guess, into or maybe through March for beaver.
Okay, well, because that would interfere with his river flow
He needs to
testing.
establish, regular stream depth flow, and with beavers, that becomes a bit more challenging, so.
Right, so if we can be on top of that, so that doesn't affect the other work that's coming down the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some coordination that's needed there, but I think we're on the same page.
Do we have, does DEEP gonna give us a specific date when we can start measuring stream flow?
Now, it's kind of up to us to justify to them, hey, we're in statistically a low flow condition, and typically there's normally a window during the winter time where we're not seeing the level of precipitation that we normally see throughout the rest of the year, and then August is an area that normally gets low flow, late summertime, August into early September.
So it's really up to us when we wanna do it, then you're saying?
Yeah, it's a modeling. So Wright Pierce has been aggressively looking at this, and again, I think part of the purpose that Greg coming before the commission will be filled with
Let me throw it over to Marius then. Well, what is your thoughts? When should we start doing?
Well, I mean, we need to present it to the DEP, basically, when we wanna measure, they need to accept it, make sure they're gonna be satisfied, because we don't wanna go and measure, spend all the money, and the DEP is gonna say, it's not acceptable. Greg has been in contact with the DEP.
Yeah.
I believe they requested some additional information about the stream flow to basically determine whether, winter time is gonna be a good time to actually see those low stream flow conditions. So Greg will come in the next PUC meeting and, provide, an update on that.
Yeah.
But, we wanna do winter testing, because obviously it's
Yeah.
gonna take a lot more time for the town to get it
Exactly.
going, if we can do it, so.
Yeah.
So we're basically working very aggressively to get that done.
So you'll be collecting data then?
Yes.
What's the duration of the test?
That depends, I think it's probably, I mean, I'll have to defer to Greg, but it's, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, at least the initial test, and then you want to leave the gauges in for longer, just to see.
What do you gauge the depth?
Yes, you gauge
Yeah.
the depth of the stream, so you calculate the area of the stream, and basically calculate how much flow is going through the stream.
Uh-huh.
So we already put in the gauges into the streams last year, so that the gauges have been in the stream for a long time, we've already
Okay.
collected the data.
Yeah,
But
you
now
still-
we monitor
right.
the pumping, this is when, in fact, when you pump the water out of the well
So you-
fields, whether you
is there-
see
is
a
there-
change in the stream.
Right, okay.
That's correct.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
And for the selectmen that are in the room, Matt was here, we have all three of them. The resolution that was on the Board of Selectmen's meeting, maybe the last time we met,
Right.
was specifically, and I'll bring more clarity to the next meeting, was specifically to allow the first selectman, give him the permission to enter into an agreement with DEEP to go on to their land, which abuts town property.
Right.
To be able to do such monitoring. So
Right.
that kind of
Yeah.
explains that resolution that may have come up last meeting.
Yeah, well, we tabled that because we didn't know.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and I spoke to Greg out in the field, and he said that was on the state property. And that's
Exactly.
what, we needed to give them
Yep.
permission to go on to the state property
And
to
that's
do
just a
that.
simple formality
Yeah.
to allow us to enter in.
I don't think you were here, and we were unsure, so we tabled that, so.
Exactly.
The selectmen's meeting.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Meredith, you have anything else for us, or, because you're not really on the agenda today?
No, he is, he's under PUC capital projects.
PUC
already.
capital project.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. All right, new business, 178 Greenwood Avenue.
Well, I guess I will begin the process. So I think it's not news to anyone that, the town suffered a building loss, which I believe the owners are here today. And part of the reconstruction of that particular property became identified that their existing water connection was insufficient to meet the new building codes that they needed to meet going forward. And when they looked into how to physically make that new connection, they identified that connecting to Greenwood Avenue, which would be either physically impossible or very costly in terms of the level of effort to get out to the state road. And I believe that there are some other physical obstructions there. They desired to use a public space behind their building, which Marty can speak to after a long title search in terms of who actually owns that. But that's kind of been the one missing piece to helping these folks move forward, which I believe we have between Kelly and the water department and Marty, all the pieces to help hopefully move this point forward. So,
Well, at our last meeting, we did approve that, it was in the best interest of the water department to run that line up through there. The only thing we didn't do at the last meeting was to vote to say how much we were going to contribute to the project. Kelly submitted a price of $12,000 not to exceed, and he has a list of materials. Now, Kelly, are we installing the pipe?
No, that's, I think that's where we were gonna, look into tonight, was maybe we could work out a deal where we pay for the material, and then their contractor, that would have been the one digging across the road on Greenwood, could install the line. This line would consist of a wet tap on the 12-inch line down on Depot, go on to the property with it, have, well, I propose 6-inch, but we can discuss tonight whether you'd rather 8-inch, but it would be a, for what I have here, it's an 8-inch line going up, 200 feet of ductile iron class 54 pipe. We would need 1 T for the 4-inch line that we're going to pay their fire line, a 4-inch valve and a short piece of 4-inch pipe. Then there would be a 6x6 hydrant T with a hydrant at the top of the hill, and that would be teed off with a MJ plug. So if whatever the future would bring, if something was ever to happen with the rest of that building where they need to put in a sprinkler line, this could be extended to the third property. Plus, it'll give the fire protection up there. And we also don't know the condition of the fire line going into the Opera House there. What's that, Greenwood Inn? I don't know what
Yeah.
the building's called.
Are we planning to take off the water service off this, or is the water service going to stay where it is?
The water service at this time could stay where it is, but if it ever came to the point where those had to be taken out, you know, you've got perfect water back there.
Because
You have to bring it into the property in a different area.
because the hydrant's on the main's on the other side of the state road, correct?
Yes, it's a 10-inch main.
So are your main is gonna go from Depot up that alleyway?
Up
Yeah.
the alleyway to the right of way. It's 200 feet, would bring us right to the peak where there's some arborvitae there. And I think that would be a good spot out of the way. It wouldn't affect snow plowing and would also drop down into the driveway.
So is this drawn out? We have a drawing of
So I
this?
drawing, no, I have parts. There's really no drawing of it.
Will there be a drawing?
I mean, I can put something on paper if you'd like, or if you.
I think it's of value, yes.
Yeah.
There's a 200-foot ductile iron class 54 pipe and 6 feet of ductile iron class 54 pipe.
That was a mistake. It's 6 feet of 4-inch. That's the stub piece that'll go from the T to the valve and then feed into their fire line, and then they would pick it up from there. I just put that up now.
Okay.
What's the depth of the main out in the street?
I'm gonna say it's 4. I don't have any records of it, but I'm gonna say I'm sure it's 4.
The reason why I'm saying that is, this is a sprinkler line, it's gotta be a minimum of 54 inches down, because it's a dead-end line. And it, non-movement, it's a little bit different than a water line, can be at 48. So if this has to go down, this has to go down 54 inches. Is that correct?
Yes,
Because it doesn't move.
right.
Yeah.
So that's
The only
4.5
time-
feet to the top.
Yeah, that's right. The only time it moves is when the sprinkler is activated, and we want this line to freeze.
Right.
Now we're gonna put a blow off at the end of this to flush that
Well,
out.
he has the hydrant.
We have to flush it
The,
out, okay.
the hydrant's going to be up on the top.
Who's gonna make the tap?
Whatever if they have a contractor. that
Their
they-
contractor's gonna make the tap?
I have it listed that we would pay for it.
Oh, I understand.
So we'll leave it to the
Okay.
commission. Now, what ours would consist of, Pete, would be the material, the cost of the installation of the tap and sleeve, the pressure test, and of course, you know, the coronation, but we would take the sample on that. I did put it down below here, all excavation, rock removal permits, paving, permanent and temporary, and unsuitable backfill material would be responsibility of the contractor/property owner.
Yeah, it makes more sense to put a bigger line in, because you cover both exposures.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's
so,
foolish to register 4-inch, you only need 4-inch for the sprinkler.
yeah,
It's
but
foolish, yeah.
he's figuring run 6-inch up there. I'd like to see that go to 8-inch to
Yeah.
the hydrant. That way there, you know, if the other buildings come
Yeah,
off of
you know,
it, or you
something
take your
that-
water services off of it in the future, you're running the pipe, go to the 8-inch now. Do you have any other comments about the work that the town would provide for there?
Marty, do we own that alleyway?
It's a public way. Nobody owns that.
It's owned by, well, that's not exactly true. Based on the title search that was done, it's owned by an A. Augustus Fisher, well, obviously his successors.
Heirs of the heirs.
He bought the land back there in January of 1861.
1861.
And what he did was he broke off a couple of parcels of it. And each time he broke off a parcel, he referred to a public alleyway, which he created. And I think the idea was, even though he didn't say it, the title company agreed with me, the title insurance company, that it was to be used by those people surrounding it, especially for the properties that he broke off. And we discussed if the likelihood of somebody to come back and lay claim to it, geez, if they haven't done it since 1861, I don't think they're gonna do it now, but I think that even if by some chance there is an heir that comes out of the woodwork at some point in time, I think that we would have two things we could do. We could either make them an offer, because it's really useless to anybody except for the people that own the property, make them an offer just to buy them out, or we could always condemn the property. And I don't think it would be that much either.
Okay.
So,
All right, I'll put a motion on the floor that the PUC provide, and I'm gonna change the dollar amount because I'm raising the size of the pipe up to $13,000. For the material and installation of the tap and sleeve and the pressure test and the financial responsibility of the water department or PUC in the amount of not to exceed $13,000.
Second.
Is that sufficient money to go to 8-inch?
Kelly said it's probably about $3 a foot more, so that would be $600.
Right,
And
now
then,
you're-
and
now
then
you're-
the fittings,
Fittings change, right?
so,
You're comfortable with that?
Yes, and
okay.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the motion?
Yeah, Rich, well, yeah, the Putnam House has a sprinkler system, and they ran a line up there many years ago.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it.
Well,
'cause
who
they
knows,
didn't
it got
own-
done, so now we got two.
Well,
He
that-
might have-
That one is only a 4-inch line.
Right.
From everything that I've seen, it's a 4-inch
Right.
line. And I don't know how they did it. I mean, I know it was done not too long ago because the Putnam House has
Right.
only been there for what,
Well, they
10,
did it
12
when
years?
Dick Valenti bought the building.
Yeah.
When that line might have been on their property because he made the driveway wider there and built the stone wall.
I
So
don't think so.
who knows what it is?
No,
but-
not from the,
They treated it as a public way, Rich. They thought it was an easement, that's what happened.
not from,
That's what all the deeds say.
That's right.
Every deed that I have from
Yeah,
all
but
the
that-
surrounding calls it a public alley.
I've gone through this with First Selectman Knickerbocker about this. That doesn't mean, I have never, in 30 years I've been in business, I have never seen any property that belonged to a town referred to as a public alley. They always say, Town of Bethel, City of Danbury. It does not belong to the town.
I understand that, but it's on all the deeds from the town, in our title search.
All right. Any other comments on the motion?
Figures online, right?
No. Are you comfortable with, as being property owners, to take care of, from the construction point of view?
The excavation, yeah.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, you're welcome. And just verify that it's, 54 inches, at least 54 inches.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
deep.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Deep.
You know, what we can actually do, we can measure out that valve that 4 inches on, and I'm sure that'll give us a good, rule of thumb how deep it is. Then the line that goes up.
Yeah, well, who knows how deep that one is,
Yeah.
No.
You can adjust
But-
that tapping sleeve down a
Yeah.
little bit and gain your depth.
Yeah.
Either that or come out with an elbow and drop it right down.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I think we do need some documentation, okay, as to where it is, because all too often, we think it's here, but. we
Well, it's
find-
gonna go on all our new
Yes.
GIS's
Yeah, right.
stuff, right? Right.
Well, maybe in good faith, the contractor or homeowner would be able to establish an as-built.
Can you do that for us? A drawing?
Just a sketch, something that we put together.
Yeah, thank you.
Like off the buildings, the existing buildings.
When do you
Okay.
plan, in spring, to start everything?
Yeah, well, if everything goes through, right now, we're looking at, we have a buyer, so if everything goes through, he wants to start right away, and tonight's meeting was part of that. So he has to do an environmental investigation, which may take a couple of weeks, and once that's finalized, we can do the closing. He wants to start right away.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. PUC capital project status summary. Now you're up.
So, yeah, I'm just gonna go through the list I provided, the handout. First project, Whitefield Water Booster Station. So the water quality results passed and the station was put online today, so we're pumping water through the system. Everybody was there today, Kelly, Ed, and Justin, so, we tested the station with all the alarms and everything was working fine. So now we just, we need to determine when the town's gonna be comfortable taking away the bypass pump station that's on site, because we can't finish up any site work before that's gone. So I think we're gonna let the station run for a week, maybe longer, and maybe next week they could take the bypass away and start working on finish up the site. But again, we feel that the station's gonna perform well, but again, we gotta get Kelly's confirmation that, get all the bugs out, basically.
Question.
Sure.
Did you guys test the controls in
Yes.
terms of pump 2 coming on when it had to?
Everything. everything was tested, pump controls, you know, this is the second time we tested everything, alarms, we've got about, 86 alarms.
So far, yes, and it's still coming.
So this is part of the testing protocol, you know, and actually with this station, we have a new mission control, so Callie's actually gonna be able to log in at his computer at home and basically take a look at the station, you know, is the station piping, you know, what alarms are on, so he doesn't have to come out to site to see what's going on, he can actually check it out from home and then determine, you know, do I need to sit something down right now, or can I wait till the morning to get it done? So that's gonna be accessible from the website. The Aaron Associate, I think, showed you today how to access it, and there'll be some additional training for the town employees, you know, how to really operate that. So
Did they get the sump pump installed in the
They
pit?
haven't got the sub pump installed yet, no, but that's this one to get
And
that.
do we have a water alarm in that pit for
Yeah.
high water?
Yeah, there's gonna be high water alarm, there's gonna be connected to that sump pump, yeah. Yep.
And you
So-
said you've checked out all the alarms in Interlock?
Yeah.
Is that all documented?
Yeah, that's all documented, yeah, that's part of the testing, everything's documented, and, you know, yeah, and then, you know, again, we have to get comfortable with the bypass, you know, make sure the station's working, I'm gonna take it away and make it finish up the site work and.
Well, he's
with
not
the
gonna-
process items and,
He's not gonna do any more site work until spring,
Spring, yeah.
so, I mean, there's no
Yeah.
rush to,
yeah, to get it off.
We have
Just
to
as
do
long
the
as they-
landscaping yet too, right?
Right, landscaping and everything, right, absolutely.
What about that valve you want?
That
What-
includes the valve as well.
that's
yeah.
part of it, so.
Yeah, but it's, the bypass pump station's in the way, so they have to take it out. And one thought that we had was, because if, you know, we don't need to leave it on site, we can actually move it off, and we can store it in town's property, so it's nearby.
Mhm.
So if something were to happen, it could actually bring it, you know, and put it on, versus
Mhm.
just hauling it away to Middlefield. So that's another option, because I like to get the site cleaned up a little bit, you know, because, you know, I know the station's pumping, but the residents, you know, they think it's still in construction.
Well,
You know, they still getting the water, so it's, to me,
uh,
I like to get the site cleaned up as best as we can, working with Sonellas, you know, understanding the winter condition, and maybe take the bypass away if, you know, everybody's comfortable, and, because the residents don't know any better, they're getting water, they don't know if it's coming from the bypass, it's coming from the new station, and nothing's done. So
Up to this point, Kelly, what's your assessment of the job done so far with Zanellis? Okay, you're not answering me.
I thought they were great on South Street. and
Yeah, I know.
I really am taken back that the way this is going down. I think it has to do with the people that were running the show in the beginning, whether it was because they took on both, I don't know whether it was basically because they took on both jobs at once or what it was, but for better words, I just feel they had a junior engineer running something that should have been somebody a little more,
Senior.
a little more senior, yeah. I mean, Dave from Zanellis and the other guy that took care of South Street, I even asked him, I said, I really hope that Dave is gonna be working on his job. And they said, well, so did we, but we can't. And they've actually been through, 3 supervisors. They're not, I don't think you can call them site managers, I guess you'd say. I don't think our idea of a priority and their idea of a priority was the same thing.
Right.
I mean, you shut somebody's water off at 8 o'clock in the morning,
We
you
don't
gotta get
retain
back
it, right?
working until 4 the following
Right.
morning. That, I just. and-
Didn't sit well.
Well, that and the project ran long and we couldn't do our flushings and things like that because of the problems with it. I'd like to, we'll hold on to that bypass pump as long as possible.
Okay, sure.
Because I would maybe even like to see some negotiations between that pump and the town for the delays
Okay.
of the project.
And it's the identical pump, with the exception of 3 versus 4, that's what's out in that trailer is what's downstairs.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I think it would be a good asset to have.
Yeah, I agree.
So again, you know, because the project's being funded through DPH, so they also resubmitted a final payment. So the bill they approved today, that's actually November payment that we held back
Right.
last time. So there's still about $80,000 outstanding that, you know, we're gonna hold on as long as we can, you know, till they complete the work, so.
Correct.
So I'm gonna communicate it to them that that's being, kind of, you know.
On the way
how
over
we get
contract,
it
yeah.
done, so.
Yeah.
But we're pumping water, which is great, everybody's happy, so now just make sure that, you know, there's no issues, no bugs, and there's little bugs, we gotta work them out, and, you know, that's usually the way.
How far over contract are they?
But it's supposed to be done in July, so they're basically.
6 months.
6 months, yeah.
It was originally
And
supposed to be
counting.
done in May.
May,
They
yeah.
gave- I think the board gave an extension through July.
What's the retainage on that?
Well, the retainage, I have to look at the numbers, but it was 5% of the total amount, so.
Yeah, but we owe them more money than
Yeah,
that.
right, you owe more money than
Yeah,
retainage, so the
yeah.
80 plus the retainage, so probably over $100,000 that's gonna be owed to them.
Okay.
The next project here, the Briarcliff Meadow Booster Station construction. So Trueball Environmental installed the project sign, and then walked this site with the town of Cali, work basically with the town. They identified some power downlines that need to be removed. I've got an email today from them. Again, they were hoping they could actually clear the easement in winter time, but because of the weather, because of the snow we received, they're not able to do that. So they're gonna be sending in a letter to Bethel Public Utilities Commission requesting winter shutdown with an updated project schedule to complete that project. So
All
that
right,
should
when
be
we-
coming in before the next meeting.
All right, when they do that, we need to submit that to the state also?
Yes.
All right.
So I'll make sure that gets submitted to the state. And then in the meantime, even though they can't really do any work out there, we're already studying hard on them to submit all the shop drawings, so
Mhm.
we're ready to go, everything is approved, and they can actually just get going and get everything installed. So that's something that, they could be working on. Additional groundwater supplies, so Doug already gave a nice update on that. Essentially, all the field work so far has been completed. Installed monitoring wells, stream flow measurements, and data collection took place. So right now, we're working in the office on basically developing the additional information for the DEP, cross sections of the test wells, and then we're getting basically an update submittal to the Connecticut DEP to submit to them by end of January or the first week of February. So this is gonna lay down kind of the workman for the next phase, drilling and installing, larger wells. So Greg Smith, our hydrogeologist, will be here at the next meeting, and he's gonna present the findings and the data from the testing that we completed in December. Again, he wanted to come today, but again, we pushed him off till next week. Next time, I think first week of February, to go over his findings and, where he's going to do that project.
Can we get that information in advance so we can review it?
Absolutely, yeah, sure. Water main replacement design. So, the 2018, the list of water mains that we worked with Rich, has been started, so design is underway, and we're hoping to have everything, all the bidding documents for March.
Great.
So we can go out to bid in March to get that done. And then the next item is, town submitted 5 funding applications for construction as part of the Connecticut DPH DWSR funding. Tom is not aware, but the town is actually able to get 25% grant because it's a small system. It's a small system, so try to take advantage. I mean, 25% is pretty good percentage to get, on the construction project. So, so that qualifies those water mains that we just talked about. Briarcliff Pump Station water main extension, that's also qualifies for that, so those are approved. We're gonna be meeting with the property owner about the tank. Again, the sign is out there now, the construction sign for the pump station and water main. So I think either Doug or Tom will try to schedule a meeting with neighbors just to let them know about the project and the schedule. And then there's one neighbor that resides at 13 Briarcliff that owns the property that Jim Chestnut Ridge Tank is gonna go, so we have to meet with him to discuss, what's it gonna take to get that land, whether we can lease it, or we have to buy it, or what kind of, things we can do with that. And then we also submitted on the skater improvements. So the skater improvements essentially, designing a system, so all the pump stations, all the things communicate with the town. Right now, there's no true SCADA system in town. All the alarms go, to telephone lines, or right now the hoist is gonna go to the mission, but there's really not a central system or computer system that will go to one computer and monitor all the pump flow rates from all the different facilities, the tank levels. Everything is basically monitored locally. So there's no one place, once we do the SCADA, all the signals and all the tank levels and all the flows will come in to one location, whether it's gonna be Tom's office or County's office or Doug's office, and, anybody can be able to do that and monitor what's going on in the entire system. So to do that, basically, a SCADA study is required to do a radio pet study to see, can you go with the antennas and how many antennas do you need, and, what frequency that radio has to be, basically running at to be able to get all the signals to all the different parts in town. So that's on this as well. And then East One well field. So this is actually for the construction of the future wells. Again, we still have to determine how much flow we're gonna be able to get from the, directional field. And once we determine how much flow we can get, how much flow we can get permitted from the DEP, then we can actually look at, the design, for the East Strong Wellfield, do we need a building, do we need a pump station, do we need to pump to a different location, could we just do wells and pump to the South Street pump station? But that's gonna determine on, the testing that we're doing right now to see how much water we can get out of that well field. And then part of these applications by end of January and the first thing of February, we need to submit some additional information to the state DPH for funding application part 1 and part 2. So I'll be working with Bob on trying to get some of the financials that the town has and update the project cost estimate, so. But again, this is to position the town to receive funding for those projects in the future.
Can I ask just one question here?
Sure.
The Chestnut Ridge water tank, is it grant, you said 25%?
Yeah.
Is that for the purchase of the property?
That would include everything for the construction,
Everything?
yeah. Construction
Including the
cost.
tank?
Including, yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically a loan program, but you're eligible for 25%
That's
as a
correct.
grant.
Grant, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, 75% loan, well, interest loan 2% and then 20%.
The interest rate is still gonna be 2%?
Yeah, well, that's what it's saying.
Yeah.
And-
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And your
So-
first line here says the funding, received funding. These have been approved?
Just been approved, yeah.
This, that, I think, I had the same question.
Yes.
So now it's just a
we
matter
have.
of kind of finalizing the applications?
Yeah, they just get all the applications, finalize the applications to them, so they can put it on the list. Yeah.
A timeframe? Do these all have to be done
They
within
have
a
to be-
certain?
Yeah, they have to, well, the applications will be in by end of January, and then these projects, the water main replacements have to be done this year, which they will be.
Right.
The Briarcliff pump station has to be done, this year by July 31st, that's part of the consent order that we have for the low pressure. The Chestnut Ridge water tank, it could be done this year, but it's also could go to the next year.
Okay.
And then, the DPH is really good with moving projects along, so if it doesn't, if we don't get something done this year, we can request an extension to do it next year as well.
But generally, they want you to get them completed in that year?
Not necessarily, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
I think you can go to the next year.
Okay.
Because when you actually sign up for the loan, usually the loan has a date when you need to have them completed by, and that's where you would drive the project, so.
Yeah, because like, that tank could take time
Right, exactly.
negotiating the land and
Right.
all of that, and then the construction isn't necessarily
Sure.
quick.
Yep.
It took how many years to get our other tank?
That was Danbury.
8, 10 years.
That was Danbury.
Okay, thank you, Maris.
Thank you.
I'll just make one comment. When I was out in the field with Greg, the geologist from Wright Pierce, when they were doing the testing, he just made a comment, and nothing guaranteed, but he said the soils were out there were phenomenal. We should be able to get a lot of water out of that field, so. But he's working on that. Thank you. Okay, engineering utility consultant report. Anything going on?
Yes, we have a main break right now on Fleetwood Avenue, right across from the Bank of America. We're pretty sure it's on the 4-inch line, where it's coming up. It's not a lot of water, so.
Going down Fleetwood? Going down Fleetwood?
Yes. Yeah, right between the mobile station, it's probably maybe 100 feet in from the intersection.
Okay.
So that's where it's coming up, so they're out there now with that. As for the crazy weather, the sub-zero weather, we probably get 3 or 4 meters pop from, when they get the bottom give way. We have one frozen service that we know of, and it's after a meter pit, so it's on the homeowner's side. Other than that, they had to shut off one of the buildings on Diamond Avenue. Fire department was in there. I think over the weekend, I got 3 or 4 calls from the fire department. But other than that, we're holding our own, with the exception of today's main break. And I know this is, but it's the first main break we've had in probably about 8 months. So the system's pretty tight. As for the solids issue, that we always keep up there. Every day they go and they clean out Fall Street, keep an eye on all the wet wells, and we really had good luck. We've had real good luck with the system right now.
Do those 2 new machines at Paul Street, they run continuously, or they alternate, or?
We rotate them basically once a week.
Once a week, so basically just one runs?
Unless.
Yeah, you got a high flow or something, yeah.
If we have a high flow, then we pull the paddle out, that divides the 2, and we let it go through both grinders.
Right, okay.
Daily, we go in there every day and grease them down, because if they're not moving, we don't want the grease to wash off those teeth. But we're we're having very good luck with, no issues whatsoever.
Okay.
How about Maplewood? Anything out that way?
Good. I think they've done something in-house.
Okay.
It's not too bad, Paul, not bad at all. I mean, yes, you know, we've gotta go out there every few months and suck it out, clean it out, but,
It's not as bad as it was before.
Yeah, I think that was a combination of both of their care facilities. Together, they worked on it, and they came up with something. I don't know whether it's.
Good to hear that.
Whether it's something in the toilets or what, but it's actually costing them money on that side too, so that kinda helped to get it moving.
All right.
Okay. All right, well, that's about it. Motion to adjourn. Do you have anything else? Anybody? Motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. It was a quick meeting. Thank you.
Good luck with the sale.
Thank you, appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Good to see you.
Thanks for making sure that they give us the drawings.
You know, it's gonna help the building, you know.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Kind of push in that direction, and Kelly had some good ideas, thank goodness he did.
And he's putting it out for sale too?
Yeah, we think we have a buyer.